The galaxy was quiet. For years, the space routes were safe. Trade moved smoothly. And the Galactic Union kept peace. But deep in Sector 9, far from any star, something strange appeared. A ship, black as darkness, floating silently in space. No lights, no signals, no signs of life, just silence. The first ones to see it were two alien cargo pilots. They were delivering minerals to a nearby station. When they passed by, they saw something that didn't look real. "It's just a shadow," one said, blinking hard. But the shadow didn't move with the stars. It was real, large, and still. They turned on the scanner. The screen went blank. Everything shut down: lights, engines, even their breathing. Masks. Then a cold voice whispered inside their heads. But it wasn't in words. It was just fear. The two pilots turned back, shaking, and left everything behind. Ow. News traveled fast. Soon, the Galactic Union sent a patrol ship to investigate. It was a military-class vessel with strong armor and weapons. But within minutes of reaching the black ship, the patrol ship vanished. No wreckage, no message, no signal, just gone. That's when people started calling it the Shadow Ship back on Earth. In a secret human research center, the alert came in. Commander Rajan looked at the screen, frowning. "It's back," he said quietly. He turned to his team, assembled the crew. "We're sending the scout ship Horizon to Sector 9. The crew was young but skilled. Luna was the youngest engineer, smart and curious. She had a strange dream the night before, black stars and whispers. She didn't know why, but she felt connected to whatever was out there. The human scout ship Horizon jumped through space and arrived near the black object. It was huge, at least 5 kilometers long, shaped like a long blade. Its surface was smooth, but it seemed to absorb light. Every sensor failed to scan it. "It's like looking at a hole in space," Luna said quietly. Then something unexpected happened. Symbols started to glow across the black ship's surface, not bright but dark. Red, like hot metal cooling down. The ship didn't move, didn't speak, but the crew felt it. The whispers started, not from speakers, not from radios, but from inside their minds. It wasn't a language, but feelings. Old, deep, powerful. Luna clutched her head. "It's calling me," she said. The captain ordered a retreat, but it was too late. The Horizon's engine stopped. Frozen in space, alarms screamed. Systems went offline. Luna walked toward the viewing window, staring at the black ship. The whispers grew louder, then suddenly stopped. Everything went silent. The lights returned. Engines rebooted. But one thing had changed. The black ship had moved. Just a little, but enough to face the horizon. Like it was watching, the crew stared in silence, unsure what to do. The captain wanted to leave, but Luna said no. "I think it wants to show us something," she said. Everyone thought she was crazy. But then, the black ship opened. Not like a door, not like a hatch. It just shifted, like part of the ship melted away. A path appeared, dark, glowing slightly. "It's inviting us," Luna whispered. No one wanted to go, but Luna stepped forward. She took a deep breath and prepared to enter the black ship behind her. The crew watched with fear. No one knew if she would return. But Luna wasn't afraid anymore. Somehow, she felt like the ship knew her. Like it had been waiting a very long time. She walked into the darkness and the ship swallowed her whole. Far away, across the galaxy, ancient beings woke from their slumber. They saw the signals, the symbols, and the shadows. And they remembered the stories. Stories about a ship that judged empires, stories about a black blade in space, and they whispered one name in fear: the dangerous one has returned. Luna stepped into the black ship. Her boots touched the floor, but it didn't feel like metal. It was soft, smooth, and warm, almost like skin. Lights didn't guide her, but she could still see. The walls glowed faintly, dark blue and purple. The air was heavy, but she could breathe. Behind her, the opening vanished. The Horizon and her crew were gone. She was alone now, inside something ancient and powerful. Her heart beat fast, but her fear was fading. The silence was strange. not empty, but alive. She could feel the ship watching her. Listening, as she walked deeper, symbols lit up along the walls. They changed shape as she passed them. They weren't letters or numbers, but memories, each. One showed flashes, images that entered her mind. She saw a planet burning, a sky filled with black ships, then another where stars were falling like rain. Then a voice whispered in her mind again. But this time, it said words, "You are not." "The first," the voice said. "You are the first to return." Luna stopped, confused. "Who are you?" She asked aloud. "I am memory," the ship answered. "I am warning." The voice wasn't male or female, old or young. It was everything. And it was nothing. Suddenly, a doorway opened in front of her. Beyond it was a huge chamber round. Dark, endless, in the center floated a glowing sphere. Spinning slowly, it showed galaxies. Stars, ships, and something else eyes. Eyes watching her from across time. She stepped closer. And the whispers returned. This time they were louder, hundreds of voices, speaking at once. Some were angry, some afraid, some begging for mercy. And among them, one voice was calm. "You must understand balance," it said. "We destroy only when the scale breaks." Luna touched the sphere. A pulse of light shot through her body in an instant. She saw everything. The ship's past, its purpose, its pain. It was created by an ancient race, older than any living species. They were once peaceful, wise, and powerful. But the galaxy turned violent. Civilizations rose and fell in endless war, so they built the black ship's judges. Of balance, not to rule, not to conquer, but to keep order. But something went wrong. One black ship turned mad, destroying everything, so the others were hidden, locked away. This ship called Vorthan was one of the last. It had been sleeping, waiting for a voice it could trust. "You carry peace," the voice said, "but you also carry pain." Luna fell to her knees. The vision's too strong. She saw Earth. Her family, her friends. She saw war, loss, and choices not yet made. "Why me?" she asked. "Because you listened," the ship replied, back on the horizon. The crew watched the black ship in silence. It hadn't moved in hours. The captain tried to contact Luna, but there was no answer. Suddenly, the black ship pulsed with dark red light. The horizon system sparked, but didn't shut down this time. Instead, a message appeared on every screen. It was a single I surrounded by fire. Commander Rajan saw it from Earth. His face turned pale. "That's the seal of balance," he whispered. "A warning from old human myths, long thought fake." The black ship wasn't just a ship, it was a judge. Inside, Luna stood before the sphere. "I don't want war," she said softly. "I want to protect people." The voice paused, then spoke. "Then carry my will, and I will carry yours." The chamber changed walls, shifting, symbols rising. The floor lifted her up and placed a mark on her hand. It glowed black and red, swirling like smoke. She was now part of the ship, and the ship was part of her. The path opened again. She walked out. This time, the horizon scanners picked her up. The crew shouted in joy as Luna reappeared in the airlock. But her eyes were different. Calm, focused, older somehow. The ship behind her glowed once more, then went still. "What happened in there?" the captain asked. Luna looked at the screen showing the black ship. "It woke up," she said. "And now, the galaxy has to decide, far across the stars." Ancient signals flared. Old species who remembered the black ships began to prepare. Some for peace, some for war. The whispers of the black hole had returned, and nothing would ever be the same again. Luna sat quietly in the medical bay of the horizon. Her body was fine, but her mind was full. The things she had seen inside the black ship still echoed in her head. Voices, memories, and strange energy flowed through her thoughts like a river. The mark on her hand still glowed faintly. It didn't hurt, but it felt alive. The crew watched her with fear and curiosity. They didn't know if she was still the same Luna they had known. She didn't know either. All she knew was that the ship had chosen her, And now, something big was about to begin. The captain called a meeting. "Whatever that ship is, it's not just a weapon," he said. "It chose Luna. It protected us. And it sent warnings to the galaxy." He looked at Luna. "We need answers. And I think you're the only one who can get them." Luna nodded. "Slowly I'll go back in," she said, "but this time, I want someone with me." The black ship, now named Vorthan, responded instantly. As Luna walked toward it again, a doorway appeared, just like before. This time, a small team. Followed her, Commander Lin, the Horizon science officer, and Enzo, a brave young pilot. They carried scanners, lights, and basic weapons just in case. But the moment they stepped inside, everything changed. The ship shifted, walls moving like liquid metal. The light turned dark purple, and the air grew heavy again, but Luna moved forward with calm steps. The ship remembered her, and it made a path. Symbols lit the walls, more active than before. Enzo whispered, "This place feels like a living creature." "It is," Luna replied. "It's alive, in a different way." They entered the great chamber where the memory sphere floated. But this time, the chamber was different. More orbs had appeared, circling slowly in the air. Each one showed different times, different wars, and different judges. Commander Lin activated her scanner. "It's projecting holograms, but there's no tech I can detect," she said. The orbs flashed, showing empires rising and falling. Ships burned, planets crumbled, but one thing was always present: a black ship. Vorthan spoke again, not in words but through images and emotions. It showed Luna standing before a council of many species. Behind her stood Vorthan, silent but powerful. The message was clear. Luna was to be the voice of balance. But there was danger too. Other ships were waking. Some corrupted by madness, others still waiting for judgment. Enzo walked toward one of the orbs. As he touched it, he screamed, falling to his knees. Images of war filled his mind, people dying, stars exploding. Luna rushed to him and pulled him back. "Don't touch anything unless it calls to you," she warned. Enzo nodded weakly, shaking suddenly. The chamber dimmed, a deep rumble echoed. Through the walls, another doorway opened, but this one was darker. Luna stepped forward, drawn by a force she couldn't resist. The others followed carefully. They entered a narrow corridor that stretched forever. Each step felt heavier, like time was pressing against them. At the end of the corridor was a pedestal. On it sat a cube black, glowing with red veins. Vorthan's voice returned. "This is my heart," it said. "It is also my prison." Luna understood now. The ship wasn't just sleeping. It had been locked away, sealed by those who feared its power. But the seal was breaking. The galaxy had become unbalanced again. "Should I unlock it?" Luna asked. The voice hesitated. "You must choose," it said. "But no, this once opened. The balance will begin." Commander Lin pulled Luna aside. "If this thing starts a war, we might not survive," she said. Luna nodded. "But if we do nothing, the war will come anyway." With a deep breath, Luna placed her marked hand on the cube. It lit up, pulsing with energy. The walls shook. The ship roared with life all over its surface. Symbols glowed like fire. The black ship rose slowly from its resting place. It wasn't hiding anymore. It was awakening outside. The horizon pulled back. Alarms rang as the space around Vorthan bent and twisted. The ship sent out a wave of dark light, reaching far into the galaxy. Ancient machines, long buried, turned on. Old watchers opened their eyes. The time of judgment had returned back. Inside, Luna collapsed. The energy too strong. The crew carried her out as the ship gently opened a path for them. The moment she stepped back onto the horizon, her eyes opened wide. "I saw it all," she whispered. "The other ships, the wars to come, the test we must pass." "What test?" the captain asked. Luna looked into the stars. "The test of balance," she said. "And we're the first ones to face it." Vorthan now floated above the horizon like a sleeping beast, but no one believed it was asleep anymore. The ship was wide awake, and the galaxy knew it. All across space, ancient sensors picked up its signal. Frequencies not used for thousands of years pulsed through the void, on forgotten worlds. Old machines started to hum again. Buried records unlocked themselves, glowing with symbols. The name Vorthan returned to the minds of the galaxy's oldest beings. The Galactic Council held an emergency meeting. Dozens of species sent their leaders to the neutral station at Kexer. The room buzzed with fear and anger. One elder from the Sarkari race stood, his voice cold. "The black ships are not myths. We buried them for a reason," another shouted. "The humans have awakened the Reaper." An image of Vorthan hovering near Earth played on a large screen. "Do we strike first?" Someone asked. "No," said the Varn ambassador. "We must speak to the humans. They may not understand what they've done back on Earth." Commander Rajan received a direct message from the Council. A peace delegation was on the way. Rajan agreed, but warned, "We don't control the ship. It listens only to her." He looked at Luna, still recovering in the med bay. "You started something. Now we have to understand where it leads." Luna sat up, her eyes distant. She spoke slowly. "It's not just one ship. There are others," she said. "Some sleeping, some broken, and one already awake." The Horizon was ordered to return to Earth orbit. Vorthan followed silently, not touching engines, not using thrusters. Simply moved, sliding through space like a shadow in water. When they arrived, panic spread across human cities. People feared invasion, destruction, the end of everything, but nothing happened. The ship floated above the moon, still and quiet. Its presence was loud without making a sound. The peace delegation arrived, 3 alien ships escorted by neutral drones. They landed near the United Earth Assembly Building. Luna and Rajan met them inside a high-security chamber. The Sarkari elder stepped forward, eyes glowing dimly. "You carry the mark of the judge," he said to Luna. "Do you know what that means?" "I think so," Luna replied softly. "It means I have to speak for the ship." The elder sighed. "Long ago, the black ships kept the galaxy in balance," he said. "They destroyed only when all warnings were ignored, but over time, fear grew. Some races wanted power without judgment. They hunted and sealed the ships. But now, the galaxy is broken again." A hologram lit the center of the room, showed dozens of conflicts, wars, rebellions, dying worlds. The balance was gone. Vorthan hadn't returned by chance, it was called back by imbalance. Luna stood tall. "Then maybe it's not here to destroy," she said. "Maybe it's here to give us a chance to change." The Sarkari elder stared at her. "No black ship ever gave second chances." "But you are new," he said slowly, "and the galaxy may listen to you suddenly." Alarms blared across Earth's defense grid. A massive fleet was approaching. Unknown ships, dark in color, no flags, no ID. They came from deep space. From the old border zones, their leader called himself General Zarn. His voice played across all channels. "You call that thing balance?" Zarn shouted, "I call it slavery." He had heard of Vorthan and he wanted it destroyed. "I bring fire, and I'll burn it before it wakes the others." Earth defense forces scrambled into position. The Council begged for a peaceful solution. But Zarn didn't wait. His ships opened fire first at the moon, then toward Vorthan. Everyone braced for impact, but the black ship moved. Not fast, not angry, just certain. A single pulse of red light flashed from its core. Zarn's first attack wave vanished, not exploded, erased. The rest of his fleet halted. Even Zarn froze. "What was that?" he whispered. Vorthan sent no message, no warning. It simply hovered again. But this time, everyone understood. The judge had spoken. Back on Earth, the Council was silent. No one argued anymore. They knew what the ship could do, but more importantly, they knew what it had chosen not to do. Luna looked into the sky. "It doesn't want to fight," she said, "but it will if it must." She turned to the Council. "Now the choice is yours. Fix the balance," she said, "or face the judgment." General Zarn sat alone in his command ship. He stared at the silent black shape near the moon. One flash of red light, and half his fleet had vanished. Not destroyed, not even debris left behind, just erased. He gritted his teeth. "This ship is not a god," he growled. "I will show the galaxy that no machine controls our future." On Earth, the Council warned him again, "Stop, Zarn, the judge doesn't negotiate." But he ignored them. He gathered more ships from the outlaw. Sectors, mercenaries, warlords, desperate scavengers, anyone who would fight within a day. Over 400 ships surrounded Earth, all pointed at Vorthan, in orbit. The horizon watched silently. Luna stood on the deck, her eyes fixed on the black ship. It hadn't moved since the last pulse. No shields, no weapons ready, just floating. But the energy around it could be felt like pressure building in the air before a storm. Captain Ramos approached Luna. "You sure it won't attack unless it's provoked?" Luna nodded slowly. "It won't act first," she said, "but once it sees cruelty, it answers." Back on Earth, the people watched the sky with fear. Children cried, families gathered in shelters. The moon turned red from the glow of engines. Above it, the largest fleet in modern history had come to kill one silent ship, and then it happened. Zarn sent one of his warships to test Vorthan again. It didn't fire at the judge, it fired at a human colony on Mars. The blast hit a city. Destroying a refugee zone, thousands died. The galaxy watched in silence. Waiting, inside Vorthan, the core pulsed. Symbols lit up across its surface, ancient and glowing red. From Luna's palm, the mark burned brighter. She dropped to her knees on the horizon, eyes wide. "It's awake." She whispered, "It's choosing." Then the ship moved. No thrusters. No engines, just a silent shift. It turned towards Zarn's fleet. The stars around it seemed to dim. Time itself felt slower, heavier. The first pulse hit. 30 ships gone, no fire, no sound, just erased from space. Zarn screamed, ordering a full attack. Lasers, torpedoes, plasma beams all fired at once, but nothing touched the black ship. Every weapon stopped midair, then disappeared. Vorthan's voice echoed not in sound, but in every mind. "You were warned." The second pulse came. A wave of red light washed over the entire battle zone. Engines failed, weapons melted, shields collapsed. 50 more ships were gone. No screams, no escape, just silence. Zarn's command ship was the only one left. He stared at the screen, sweating. How? How can this be real? Luna opened her eyes on the horizon. Her voice echoed with Vorthan's tone. "You broke balance," she said. "Now you face the judgment." Exarn tried to flee, but space around him folded. His ship floated into a glowing sphere that had opened behind him, and then he too was gone. No wreckage, no signal, just nothing. The rest of the galaxy was silent. No one dared move, no one dared speak. Even the council didn't know what to do. Vorthan turned again slowly, calmly, and returned to its position above the moon. It had erased a fleet of 400 ships. In less than 4 minutes, not to conquer, not for power, but because one man had ignored balance, the horizon received a new message from Vorthan. Not in words, but in a vision. It showed Earth, still standing. Then it showed dozens of other worlds in fire, in war, out of control. The voice followed. "This was the first test," it said. "Others will come. Choose peace or face correction." Luna stood up slowly. She looked at the captain and the crew. "I'm not just connected to the ship anymore," she said. "I am part of its mission now." The captain nodded. "Then we follow your lead, back on Earth." A new message was sent across the galaxy, from humans, from the council. From Luna herself, it was short. "We will not start war, but we will protect balance in hidden corners of space." Leaders watched, some in fear, some in anger. Others began to prepare, some for diplomacy and some for revenge. But the galaxy now knew one truth. One ship, one human had ended a war in 4 minutes. Not with armies, not with speeches, but with judgment. The galaxy was quiet again, but it was a fearful silence. The war had not lasted even 5 minutes. 400 ships had vanished, and no one dared send another. Vorthan floated above the moon like a black monument. It didn't move, didn't speak, but its presence was louder than any weapon on Earth. Leaders gathered in deep chambers. Aliens and humans sat side by side, their faces pale and tense. The council had returned. This time not to argue, they came to beg for peace. Luna stood at the center, calm and quiet. Her eyes were different now, like they had seen 1,000 lifetimes. The mark on her hand glowed faintly beneath her sleeve. She didn't raise her voice. She didn't need to. They listened because they were afraid. "I didn't create the ship," she said. "I can't fully control it. But it listens to me because I chose peace. If we want to live, we must choose the same." The council discussed for hours. Some wanted to form a new alliance. Some wanted to disband their armies. Others didn't trust humanity at all, but none of them dared attack. Because now they all believed in the Black Ship, not as a myth, but as a god of balance. Days later, a document was created. It was called the Treaty of Shadows. It promised peace, justice, and balance among all species. War would not be banned, but it would be watched, and if any power grew too strong, Vorthan would judge. The treaty was signed in space. Above Earth, aboard a giant ring station called Unity 1, leaders stood beneath the gaze of the Black Ship, and one by one they added their names. Luna signed last, not as a leader, but as voice of the ship. When she touched the treaty with her hand, the symbols of Vorthan appeared across the page, red and black, pulsing gently. The galaxy now had balance, at least on paper, but not. Everyone agreed. Far from Earth, in the dark corners of the Aeron Nebula, a secret faction met in silence. They were called the Null Light, a mix of scientists, warlords, and exiles. They believed the Black Ships were a threat to freedom. They wanted to break Vorthan's link to humanity. "We were kings before this machine returned," said a hooded figure. "Now we kneel to a child and her ghost ship," another replied. "If we can't beat the ship, maybe we can steal it." Meanwhile, Luna continued her work from the horizon. She visited nearby systems, talked to planets still healing from war. She offered no demands, only warnings. "Vorthan watches all," she said. "Don't fear it, just be fair." Some planets welcomed her, others pretended to agree, and some plotted in shadows. One night, while Luna slept aboard the horizon, the ship's alarms began to scream. 3 stealth ships had approached from the dark side of the moon. No ID. No communication. The horizon raised shields, ready to fire, but Luna stopped them. "Let's see what they want," she said. The attackers launched small drones machines with strange energy signatures. They weren't weapons, they were siphons. They began to drain power from Vorthan's surface. The Black Ship did nothing at first. Then, one drone touched a glowing symbol and exploded into red dust. The other 2 turned and fled, but before they got far, space bent around them. They were pulled into a swirling black fold, then disappeared. Luna stood on the deck, eyes glowing slightly. "She warned them," she whispered. "She always warns first." The council was informed. A new section was added to the Treaty of Shadows. No species shall attempt to interface with the ship without invitation. That night, Luna returned to her quarters. She placed her hand on the cold glass, looking out at Vorthan. The ship blinked once, just a flicker of red light, like it was saying goodnight. But deep inside the ship, something had changed. A second chamber had opened inside it. More orbs began to light up, each one showing a new ship, hidden in deep space, covered in dust and silence. Other judges waiting, and in one orb, an ancient ship stirred, not like Vorthan, not peaceful. Its colors were wild green, and purple flames danced across it. It wasn't sleeping, it was watching. The Age of Balance had started. But the shadows were moving too. The Treaty of Shadows was only the beginning, and soon another test would come. One that no one could stop, not even the Black Ship. Time passed, the galaxy slowly began to change. War didn't disappear, but it became rare. No leader wanted to risk the Black Ship's judgment. One mistake, one cruel order, and everything could be gone in seconds. People called it the Age of the Black Ship, an age of cold peace. Watched by a silent shadow, Luna became a legend. Children learned her name in school books. Statues were built in her honor, but she stayed on the horizon, never asking for fame. She worked quietly, guiding peace talks, solving disputes, not with weapons, but with warnings. She still spoke to Vorthan, sometimes with words, sometimes in dreams. The ship never asked anything from her, except truth. One night, Luna had a dream. She stood on a dark world, ruins around her. How the sky was full of stars. But one burned green. From it came a different ship, smaller, faster, full of rage. She woke up with a cold feeling. The dream wasn't just a dream, it was a message. Vorthan was warning her. The very next day, strange readings appeared in Sector 51. A signal, ancient and strong, pulsed like a heartbeat. Luna and her crew traveled to investigate. What they found made their blood freeze. A second judge had awakened. But this one was different. Its hull was broken in places, its colors twisted. It was called Sereth. An older ship, damaged, confused, angry. Vorthan remained still, waiting, watching. Luna understood this was not a test of destruction. This was a test of understanding. Sereth didn't speak in whispers like Vorthan. It screamed loud signals, full of rage and pain. Every message it sent ended with a single symbol. Balance was broken. The council panicked. Some wanted to hide. Others wanted to attack. But Luna asked for silence. Let me go alone. She said they won't listen to war. The horizon approached Sereth slowly. Its crew stayed back. Only Luna entered the red zone. She floated toward the ship in a small pod. No weapons, no protection, just hope. As she neared it, the ship pulsed with green fire. Her systems shut down, but she didn't panic. She opened the hatch and stepped onto the strange surface. Sereth was broken inside. Its walls were cracked, and the memories inside flickered like broken glass. She saw visions of betrayal, of ancient wars. Sereth had judged a planet long ago, but instead of justice, it had been used for revenge by its last pilot. Since then, it had wandered in guilt and madness. Trapped between duty and regret, Luna placed her marked hand on its damaged core. She didn't offer commands. She offered forgiveness. You were used, she said gently, but you're not lost. For the first time in centuries, Sereth went silent. Its fire dimmed. Its voice grew calm. It didn't erase Luna. It opened. The horizon picked up a new signal. Sereth had accepted her touch. It sent a new message to Vorthan in words. But in light, a symbol of peace. Then Sereth turned and left, not as an enemy, but as a traveler once again. Its light changed from green to silver. Balance was restored, back on Earth. The council met again, but this time there were no arguments. They voted to form the Galactic Balance Corps, a group led by humans, aliens, and representatives from all peaceful races. Their mission: prevent war before the judges were forced to act. Luna was named honorary founder, but she refused the title. I'm just a bridge, she said. Between fear and understanding, years passed. Other judges were found, some still sleeping, some already awake, some accepted peace, others needed help. But never again did one act without warning, because now the galaxy had a voice it trusted. A voice born from Earth, guided by hope. Luna aged, but she never stopped working. One evening, she sat beneath a window on the horizon, watching Vorthan float in the stars, its red glow now soft. Peaceful, she whispered. Thank you. And the ship blinked in return when she passed away. Quietly in her sleep, the entire galaxy mourned. No war was fought, no judgment was made. Only silence and respect. A new generation took her place, trained not to command, but to listen, to remember balance, not just fear power. The black ship still floats above the moon, still watching, still waiting, but now it is no longer alone. This is the age of balance. This is the age of the black ship. It began with one human who dared to enter the void and listen.